Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Fail. LeBron James tries to insult Trump voters, but makes himself look like a total moron instead. Professional athletes should really stop talking about politics. But if they did, we wouldn't get hilarious quotes like this. This week, LeBron James was asked why his state voted for Trump. His answer is as ironic as they come. "I don't think a lot of people was educated," James said. Look at that quote. Really think about. Isn't it hysterical? And he wasn't even done. People are just not educated on either the individual or what's actually going on in the state of the world right now. Not that particular state, but the state of the world, James said, before sticking his foot in his mouth once again. "I don't think a lot of people are educated, and they make choices and say things that's uneducated." Hopefully, James isn't asking people to be educated by an adult man who still can't conjugate his verbs, because that would be an uneducated thing to do. Describe LeBron James in one word and share if you think he is a moron. Signs point to yes. Dobbs just broke and told the world Obama and Hillary's massive secret scandal. Fox News' Dobbs had on the author of Clinton Cash Peter Schweitzer on Friday to talk about the deep state attack on our elected president. "There is no clear statement as to why we would give up, for any reason, any price, 20% of our uranium in this country. And that is a question that is left open still unanswered. And secondly, have you ever heard of anyone putting $145 million, at one moment, into the hands of the Clinton Foundation? And the answer is, of course not. These questions, most basic and fundamental, were armed by the very committee made up of the very agencies, departments, and individuals responsible for national security. This is the biggest Obama scandal. I think it may well turn out to be the biggest scandal in American political history." As reported earlier, the Obama administration approved the controversial Uranium One deal with Russia that handed over 20% of our uranium capacity to the Russians. According to Circa News, the bribery was set up like a Hollywood movie. The bribery schemes included delivering thousands of dollars in yellow envelopes, laundering tens of thousands of dollars in briefcases, or wiring thousands of dollars through shell companies through the Seychelles Islands, Latvia, Cyprus and Switzerland, to name a few. Loretta Lynch also blocked the FBI from testifying to Congress. It seems that Dobbs is correct and that this is the biggest U.S. scandal in history. Share this if you think it's time to arrest the Obama administration. What they did was criminal. Reporters just asked Maddow dumb question, what he said next left their jaws on the floor. General Mad Dog Mattis just issued a terrifying threat to our enemies. Unlike previous administrations, he's willing to fight to win. While taking questions on Friday about a mission in Niger that left 4 American soldiers dead, Mattis slammed the media's relentless speculation about the event. "One point I would make, having seen some of the news reports, the U.S. military does not leave its troops behind," Mattis said. "I would just ask that you would not question the actions of the troops who were caught in the firefight and question whether or not they did everything they could in order to bring everyone out at once." Then, Mattis addressed the broader issue about war, and his stance should scare anyone willing to fight the United States under Mattis' watch. At the same time, war is war, and these terrorists are conducting war on innocent people of all religions. They're conducting war on innocent people that have no way to defend themselves. I would just tell you that in this specific case, contact was considered unlikely, but there's a reason we have U.S. Army soldiers there and not the Peace Corps, because we carry guns. Finally, we have a military leader in the White House that's willing to win wars that they start. Previous administrations were far too worried about optics and humanitarianism, but Mattis is willing to kill. Comment "Go Mad Dog!" and share if you're happy to have a defense secretary that is willing to win our wars. It's about time. Rachel Maddow just went too far. She's in hot water for sick thing she said about Trump. Rachel Maddow went too far. She's in hot water for sick thing she said about Trump. Rachel Maddow has finally gone too far, even for liberals. This week, in the aftermath of an attack that left 4 Americans dead in Niger, Maddow tried to tie the attacks to Donald Trump's travel ban. The monologue took up the first 25 minutes of her Thursday night show. The host also claimed that the ban had an immediate effect in emboldening ISIS attacks. Seriously? These are two unrelated topics that the host is trying to push together in order to serve her own anti-Trump agenda. She doesn't care that real Siders are dead. She only cares about attacking the president. Even the left couldn't contain their confusion. According to Fox News, the leftist Huffington Post published an article called "What the Hell Was This Rachel Maddow Segment?" The article quotes Laura Shea, a professor at the Colby College Department of Government, who said, "Everybody that I know is appalled by this. I would like to think that Maddow's researchers are more responsible." She also said that any expert would denounce the theory. So why did Maddow do it? Because she's not an expert. Describe Maddow in one word and share if you think she's terrible. This is fake news at its absolute worst. Trump just pulled out this piece of paper and pissed off every terrorist in the world. President Donald J. Trump has now beaten ISIS in Raqqa with the help of his incredible military leadership. Here is his statement on the issue. Actually, hold up. Before we get to Trump's statement. Statement by President Donald J. Trump on the defeat of ISIS in Raqqa. I am pleased to announce that the Syrian Democratic Forces, our partners in the fight against ISIS in Syria, have successfully recaptured Raqqa, the terrorist group's self-proclaimed capital city. Together, our forces have liberated the entire city from ISIS control. The defeat of ISIS in Raqqa represents a critical breakthrough in our worldwide campaign to defeat ISIS and its wicked ideology. With the liberation of ISIS's capital and the vast majority of its territory, the end of the ISIS caliphate is in sight. We will soon transition into a new phase in which we will support local security forces, de-escalate violence across Syria, and advance the conditions for lasting peace, so that the terrorists cannot return to threaten our collective security again. Together, with our allies and partners, we will support diplomatic negotiations that end the violence, allow refugees to return safely home, and yield a political transition that honors the will of the Syrian people. One of my core campaign promises to the American people was to defeat ISIS and to counter the spread of hateful ideology. That is why, in the first days of my administration, I issued orders to give our commanders and troops on the ground the full authorities to achieve this mission. As a result, ISIS strongholds in Mosul and Raqqa have fallen. We have made, alongside our coalition partners, more progress against these evil terrorists in the past several months than in the past several years. I commend all of our coalition partners for the sacrifices they have made in this noble effort. Therefore, as we recognize this military accomplishment, we also pause to honor our servicemen and women and all they have given to protect us and all civilized people from these modern-day barbarians. Today, we reaffirm that ISIS leaders, and anyone who supports them, must and will face justice. Share this if you are glad that Trump is at the helm. He is fighting every day to make this country great again and to save the world from the horror of ISIS. Witness just came out against Robert Mueller. Look what dirty secret they have on him. Despite what the media tells you, Robert Mueller is on track to not have as much of a record as most American would believe. Boston-based lawyers Harvey Silvergate penned an article for WGBH this week and talked about how Mueller, acting as United States Attorney at the time, tried to entrap him on fake drug charges. Oh. Is Robert Mueller a dirty cop? See below. According to WGBH and former Assistant U.S. Attorney Sidney Powell, as acting United States Attorney in Boston, Mueller is guilty of prosecutorial improprieties. From WGBH. When Mueller was the acting United States Attorney in Boston, I was defense counsel in a federal criminal case in which a rather odd fellow contacted me to tell me that he had information that could assist my client. He asked to see me, and I agreed to meet. He walked into my office wearing a striking, flowing white gauze-like shirt and sat down across from me at the conference table. He was prepared, he said, to give me an affidavit to the effect that certain real estate owned by my client was purchased with lawful currency rather than, as Mueller's office was claiming, the proceeds of illegal drug activities. My secretary typed up the affidavit that the witness was going to sign. Just as he picked up the pen, he looked at me and said something like, "You know, all of this is actually false, but your client is an old friend of mine and I want to help him." As I threw the putative witness out of my office, I noticed, under the flowing white shirt, a lump on his back. He was obviously wired and recording every word between us. Powell said that people like Mueller convict people for sport and that they will make sure that whatever needs to be done to get that conviction. We need to stop this Mueller investigation right now. If Mueller is the person that Powell says he is, then this is horrible. It's double horrible when you think that Robert Mueller was the head of the FBI from September 2001 to September 2013 and operate until James Comey took over in 2013. Robert Mueller has his hands all over the Clinton Uranium One scandal that is heating up. Share this if you think that it's time that Mueller investigation to be stopped. Where the hell Jeff Sessions right now?